Hello and welcome to the Marty Show. I'm your host, Stan. Today we're going to talk about and review Matt Wagner's Grendel Omnibus Vol.1, Hunter Rose, published by Dark Horse Comics. This is the second edition. The first edition was published in a smaller format, and apparently it made it a bit difficult to read some of the text in the book. So they decided to re-edit it in regular comic book format with this edition. You get a lot of value for your buck here. You get nearly 600 pages for a cover price of $29.99 US or $39.99 in Canada. It's a very thick book. Here's the spine, as you can see. And this is the back of the book. You've got the Dark Horse logo right here. It was on the spine too. And here is the cover price for the US and Canada. And here's a very, very nice cover for this edition. The previous edition had a different cover. And more nice artwork here by Wagner. And let's look inside. Well, this is the table of contents. And the book is split up into 5 parts, aside from the author's bio at the end. The first part is titled Devil by the Deed, which is basically a summary of the first few issues that Wagner did early on, but somehow he eventually decided to do this experimental retelling of it rather than republishing the earlier issues, at least within the book. It was originally full color, but possibly for stylistic reasons or for consistency's sake, it's been recolored black, white, and red for this edition. All the other stories follow the same color pattern. If I have one complaint, it would be that these pages were originally conceived with color in mind, so the new color scheme makes the story a little harder to follow. But the layouts and the artwork, everything here is stellar. I love it. It's got this Art Deco feel. It's very intricate. Here you can see a character falling from a high ceiling. That's Argent. It's Grendel's archenemy. And here you can see it's quite experimental, but it's a little hard to follow, as I said. Again, maybe because of the color scheme. But it still looks very good, and it's printed on glossy paper. It's got good paper stock, although it's pretty shiny, so sorry for the reflection at times. And this is the second section here starting, and this is Grendel black, white, and red. Well, basically the middle part of the book is black, white, and red. Then you get a short story called Sympathy from the Devil, and thirdly, Grendel red, white, and black. Sorry if that's a bit confusing. And here we are looking at black, white, and red. And aside from the short story, which was written and drawn by Wagner, the other 2 are collections of short stories done by various creative teams, but mostly written by Wagner, involving the character of Hunter Rose, aka Grendel the First. And the thing is, he actually dies at the end of Devil by the Deed, which is the first story. So these stories are literally flashbacks of things that happened before or concurrently to Devil by the Deed. If that all sounds pretty puzzling, that's because it is. All in all, I wouldn't recommend you to read this as your first comic. It's got some pretty complex themes and characters, and it's a bit all over the place due to the short story nature of the middle section of the book. But all things considered, it's not that bad an entry point into the world of Grendel, and it left me wanting more, which is a good thing. Just expect a lot of mystery and a lot of unresolved plot points and ideas. Although there's a lot of violence and action, it's more of a thinking piece and a reflection on the nature of evil and corruption. It's never fully explained who and what Grendel actually is, at least in this volume. But somehow the character of Hunter Rose grows on you after a little while, and he's this kind of Machiavellian presence that takes control of the city by night, and by day he is known as a socialite and a successful novelist. He's very, very violent. You can see whenever there's red, it's often blood. Sometimes it's only black and white, but here you can see the red here is actually blood. And here too. It's got some stunning art in it by amazing artists. Wagner himself is no slouch. And you've got some Tim Sale in here, some Mike Allred, David Mack, Chris Sprouse, and Jill Thompson, among many, many others. That's Jill Thompson. The red, black, and white stuff actually works very well for this collection of short stories. It's striking looking, and I understand why they chose the glossy paper. It really works well with this type of material. Things get pretty bloody here. Nice artwork. Some of it is more like short stories, like almost like mini novels. It's not only art, there's a lot of text as well. And you kind of, again, it's not so clear what it's all about. You have to figure out whose voice it is. It's often Hunter Rose, but sometimes it's characters that you've never seen in the story. You can see like some foretelling here. This is something that happens in the future. It's not clearly explained here, but there are other incarnations of Grendel later on into this. And this is the last section of the book here. And it's this is basically where I realized that I actually love this stuff. It's a graphic novel called Behold the Devil. It's drawn and written by Matt Wagner himself. The art here is excellent, and you get to know not exactly, but you get to know a bit more about who Grendel is and what Grendel is and what he is capable of on a larger scale. And you can see a bit of, future, what the future holds for the character, and how it's actually not only Hunter Rose, but it's more like some kind of spirit, or like people are possessed by Grendel, and that's the author's bio here. All in all, and that's volume 2, which is already available, and volume 3 and 4 will be released in 2023, I believe. So final thoughts. I strongly recommend it to those who don't mind having to fill in the blanks with their own ideas and musings, but I would say that it's a hard pass for those who want something more like a superhero comic, which this isn't. Well, thanks for watching, and no matter what you do, read comics. They're good for you.